Welcome to a new episode of Flowcast. Today we're meeting Suzi and Nicky Rushton, two musicians and long-standing collaborators based between Berlin and Newcastle, whose work together explores sounds, place and the passage of time. You can read a full interview and the lyrics on our Substack page at artmusicscience.substack.com. Now let's hear from Suzi and Nicky. Do you want to start telling me something about you, who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Suzanne. I also go by Suzi Lamb, and I'm a percussionist drummer, but actually maybe that's old news, and I'm more of a multi-instrumentalist. And me and Nicky have been involved in music projects directly together since about 2011, when we played in a project with Jem Andrews, and then directly together in Nicky's main band for the last 15 years, 10 years, something like that. So I'm based in Berlin, but I also got strong links to Newcastle, where Nicky is, and the UK, where I lived until 5 years ago.
Nice, thank you, Suzanne.
And I'm Nicky Rushton, and I've managed throughout my whole life to be able to be a musician and still pay the rent. I know. Yeah. And it started with a band I was in that did a lot of touring. There were just the two of us, called All Because the Lady Loves, and we toured around Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Europe mostly, and the UK. And we did that for about 10 years. And then I've just been in various different bands. One, Mush Collective, which I'm in at the moment with Suzanne, but other musical projects as well, and done some writing for theatre and for artists. And we've done some collaboration with an artist called Labena Himid before, and created an album from it. And then we started doing a little bit more work recently together, just on this sort of stuff, being a bit more abstract.
Which led you to Flow and the composition you did with this project, right? What led you to participate?
Well, I'll let you start on that, because you started it, and then I'll come in where I joined in.
Yeah, I've done several projects now for the Cities and Memories project. I'm really interested in the whole format of that. And then in my personal composition, I've been working on a project around people's relationships to different bodies of water. Probably it's been 2 years going on now, and I collected people's stories, mainly friends and family, people's audio stories of different stretches of water, and then I've been composing with those pieces. And then when this Flow project came, I said to Nicky, I have to do this. There's this new project, and I have to be one of those artists because it fits exactly to what I'm doing. So I was very excited to come along. And then at some point, I guess I roped you in, Nicky.
Yeah. So at some point, well, I'd been roped into a few other things as well that you've been involved with. Anything I'm roped into, I love, and I take as it can be either a challenge, it can be a absolute instant joy. This was kind of an instant joy because I love water as well. I'm a fish, astrological fish. And water's just so special, and I just love the movement of it. So thinking about the river, it was nice to bring a live element to it. So I did some electric guitar and some singing and spoken word, a bit of spoken word. But then actually we were really lucky because we ended up being together in Newcastle for a little bit of it. So we actually, though we've been collaborating from Berlin and Newcastle, or wherever you were, Suzanne, it was it was really nice to just near the end, just come together with it a bit. So it felt we'd been flowing like this, and then suddenly we were joined together a bit more.
There's nothing like being in the same room and making music together.
Oh, absolutely! It's
exactly,
special, isn't it? Yeah.
We'd done a lot. We'd done a lot of toing and froing, and actually that was interesting as well, because we said at the start, I shared the original field recording with Nicky, and then I said I've already started something, but we both said, why don't we start something separately to each other and not hear what I'd done already? And so we already had these threads in a way, didn't we, throughout? And then it was about how they connected together and which parts we wanted. And really want there to be this live feeling. And then you sent me, you said, I'm going to experiment with guitar distortion. And then you sent me 18 minutes worth, didn't you, of guitar? You said, well, I've done something. And I was like, great. And
I think that was also quite nice though it's really great to be in the room together. Also doing something like this, it's nice to be on your own and just be truly experimental without feeling anything. You're just in a room on your own. And I was in a room on my own, and I could have the guitar as loud as I wanted it to be. And I'd suddenly find something else to put on the guitar to make noises with, and it was really good fun.
And I like how the result is a 4-minute long piece where lots of things are happening, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel like overcrowded. There is a nice flow in between all the parts. It all blends in quite nicely. And talking about the field recording, as I was listening to you describing your relationship with water, I would have expected you to choose a more, let's say, natural part of the river. Instead, you went for segment 22, which corresponds to the city of Augsburg. So there's barely any water at all in that field recording. And yeah, why did you go for that one?
It was actually a practical decision because my partner lives in Munich, and it was important to me that I visited the section that I was going to work with. And I looked at the course of the river, and I was like, even though maybe from a geographical point of view, another section might have been more interesting to me, or like you said, the field recording aspect, I thought, I think this feels achievable. And I am very drawn to this kind of tension between what happens when a river is right there alongside humans in a more urban setting. You know, there's lots of different things to be said about that, and those relationships and the history of that area. And, you know, there's like 22 hydro power stations along the river. So I found that interesting, like as it gone past there and what happens once it reached that city. And like I say, this tension, this relationship between the humans and the water. So that also appealed to me, but I knew I'd be able to visit, and that seemed important.
Yeah, which is one of the main topics of this project. So we wanted to confront the artist with the ethical questions of, is there a contrast between humans and nature? Is it even possible at all to draw a clear line between humans and nature? But in sections of the river, like the one that you both worked on, Augsburg, humans, technology, civilization, however you want to call it, won. In this case, the river is our serf. We got what we wanted from the river, and there's no question asked there.
Yeah, I mean, I very much felt this sense of its exploitation in a way, and this taking from, and like that's why we put a few lyrics in much later, but I had this line, took the gold of your body. I really felt like it's almost like you just pillage this resource, but that's not the only thing you can say about that relationship. I didn't want it to be a negative take on our relationship, but it was very apparent. And when I walked by the river, I just felt quite sad. It seemed like it was ignored, it was overlooked, it felt sad to me. And I did walk beyond my section to where it sort of then flows freely again, and it was like such a relief to go, you made it through all of that, and now you can just be yourself again and just flow. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Like, it was quite painful. I mean, it was January, but it did feel quite bleak and quite disregarded in a way, even though it's sort of right there. And I think we tried to bring that into the singing as well, didn't we, Nicky? We had this very beautiful section of harmonies. I mean, they're quite buried in the mix, but you did quite a few more like tense, dissonant layers, and we never wanted it to stay too pretty for too long, because we felt like that's not doing the subject a justice. It's not representing that relationship.
I think there was an element of feeling slightly stressed with the piece as well. I like that feeling, which I felt like when you described the river to me, it felt like it was slightly under stress, really, from its manipulation of like and human beings. But I like that you always kept saying, I don't want this to be negative, though. It's a joint thing between human and nature.
It's hard to keep objective and try to not fall into the more negative perspective here, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but I also think then that makes you think of the time frames beyond several generations of human existence, and you think, well, the river will hopefully and most likely still be there beyond all of our lifetimes, and there'll be different cycles of technology and human relationships, but the river will still be the river, and I think that's ultimately why it's kind of got more power than we do. In a way, we do all this damage, but we are similar in nature with this adapt, but the river has much longer time frame to do that. We just have our lifespan, and then that's goodbye for us and on to the next people that have whatever their relationships are.
Time is a recurring theme in this project. In one of the first episodes, Jeff Dingfelder talked about non-linear time, and Simon Holmes even called his piece The Last Goodbye. The canals have been supplying water to Augsburg since the Middle Ages, which might seem a long time for us, but not from the geological point of view. In the historical city centre, a grid of canals is interwoven with the medieval streets. We were there on a Sunday, so it was busy, and the sound of water was covered by human sounds. People talking, church bells, and cars. You have this massive black car which is as wide as the entire road driving past. That kind of symbolized to me how the entire field recording represented how humans can be part of the nature, can be the solution or the problem.
Yes, everything at once. Yeah, bit of both. I think also I think me and Nicky both honed in on the bell tolls, because there's obviously already a melodic aspect to that, but also I was drawn to there's some child's laughter that I repeat at several points. It's one of the only sections of the field recording that I sort of manipulate a bit and repeat, because it just stuck out to me as a different quality to this relationship, a more joyful sort of in the moment thing that you could say is a bit like this kind of movement on the top of the water. Got moments that happen because it's always moving, and I thought there was a nice symbiosis with a playful sounding child as well.
Now let's listen to their composition, the Stony one.
Transparent dreams. Throw them downstream. A ticket.
A coin for luck. Standing on your bank.
Banish your life's lies.
Sooty in the throat of you. Your borders breached. Slow for toil. We solid you, revere you.
Tamed your natural dance. Buried you under.
Through our streets. Took the gold of your body.
Over the borderlands.
Facing the dog.
The last wild one.